Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Incessantly Seeking. Today, I have Maria Shapley. She is a intuitive coach, and I can't wait to start talking to her about how can we use our intuition. So, Maria, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, Luciana. I'm an intuitive coach or intuitive life coach, and I'm trained in using my intuition to find the root of your unconscious blocks and clear them so that way you can move forward and achieve your goals, right? Because in life, sometimes we have something that we want to manifest, but there's something blocking us, and that usually comes down to a limiting belief or something that we experienced in the past, right? So I just kind of help people move forward and manifest what they want.
I love that. I mean, don't we all need that? How do you get trained in that? I love it.
hmm Yeah, so I've been in the health and wellness industry for at least 10 years. Started with personal training and doing coaching that way. And then I went more into acting, shamanic psychology, just to learn different methods. And then I became a certified life and success coach a few years or so ago, and then took my intuition training really seriously. So I went through a whole training of intuition development, and that's where I learned techniques to find the root of limiting beliefs, clear them, and train your intuition.
I love that. So we're going to apply that to the dating world. So I'm single, I'm dating, I'm not sure what your relationship status is, but a lot of the people listening to the podcast are looking for a way to get to know themselves better or maybe avoid some pitfalls that we have fallen into. So how do we apply this intuition in our dating lives?
Definitely. Yeah. Having your intuition trained or developed is so key, especially when dating. So, what you can do, so I'll share some techniques that you can use to start training your intuition now. But first thing you want to do when you want to connect to your intuition is connect to the light. Because when you connect to the light, you connect to truth. And intuition comes from a high vibration. So when you connect to the light, you're kind of just asking for truth, a clear channel. And that's what I always do. So if you want to, I could guide you through like a mini, visual. Why not?
I'd love it. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so just seat it comfortably, and we'll do like a quick connect. But you can close your eyes and just begin to focus on your breathing and breathe slow through your nose, feeling the slightly cooler air as it enters your nose and the slightly warmer air as it leaves your nose. And with your eyes closed, look up and take your energy 300 feet above your head, above the clouds where you see or sense source light, connecting to this brilliant white light and asking for this to come into the top of your crown. And as this light hits the top of your crown, it's healing your cells, it's regenerating your cells, it's asking for truth, clarity, and guidance, asking for your intuitive abilities to be opened, feeling this light go throughout your eyes, your third eye, opening up your sense of sight so you can see the truth clearly. And feel this light going throughout your face, your ears, opening up your ear chakras so you can hear your truth clearly. Feel this light going to your throat space, opening up your throat so you can speak your truth clearly. And imagine this white liquid light going throughout your shoulders, arms, and hands. And then bring the light down to your chest and your heart space, opening your heart to receive more love that the universe has to give to you. And allow this liquid light go throughout your solar plexus, washing away any unease, washing away any stress, washing away any worry. And breathe this light into your stomach, your sacral, your hips, your root. This is where you can easily take action and create change in the world. And bring this light throughout your legs, knees, calves, and at your feet. And like roots of a tree, send this beam of light down to the center of the planet where you connect to Mother Earth. And some people see this as a pyramid or a crystal like dimension. But when you connect there, it's as if you need to take a breath. Feel her support, then send this beam of light right back up into your feet, legs, hips, all the way up and out your head. And bring both lights from above and below into the center of your heart and radiate it out 360 degrees around your body so you're in a sphere of light and love. And send this light 10 feet around you, 20 feet, past your home, past the city, past the state, and past the planet. Where you have no edges, you can keep on going. So take notice, how do you feel being connected to this place? You may feel lighter, maybe more relaxed, expansive. When you connect to the light every day, this is how you can create real change and miracles. This is how you can clear your blocks. Um, the light is who we are. So now that we're connected to the light and to truth, this is where we can use our intuition. Um, and of course, if you want to do more into intuition training, it's a little bit different. But anyway, but for the purpose of this episode, for this podcast, what you want to do when you use your intuition is first connect to light, ask for truth. And I don't know if you have something like this, it's a pendulum.
Okay. Is it a crystal pendulum?
This one's a crystal pendulum. You can use any pendulum. It's a weighted object with like something, a string with a weighted object at the end. But they have other ones, just like silver or anything. This one's a crystal. But you can use a pendulum and ask for answers. So a pendulum responds to your body. So it's going to respond to the energy of your body. So when I ask it a question and how you hold it with your pointer finger and your thumb. And you want to have your elbow resting on something. I'm just going to go like this. So first you want to program the pendulum and you say, I'll show you guys a couple different ways, but okay, pendulum, show me yes. Okay, so it's going back and forth. See? Now stop. Okay, so it's stop. Now show me no. Pendulum, show me no. So you see it's going side to side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now stop. So I'm not moving it, it's responding to me. So let's see. Pendulum, is my name Maria? Is my name Maria? I got confused for a second. In this life, is my name Maria? I don't know. Be specific. Okay. What's another? Do I live in Los Angeles? Do I currently live in Los Angeles? Okay, yes. So it's going to respond to your energy. So you can ask it yes or no questions. So this is something cool to use. Do you want to ask it a question?
Oh boy, in real time. Sure, I'll ask it a question. I guess you have to be specific. Am I ready to jump into a new relationship? Pendulum. Am
Is,
I ready to jump into a new relationship?
is
A
Luciana
romantic
ready to
relationship?
is Luciana ready to jump into a romantic relationship? Yes.
Oh God, it said yes. I love it. I
Okay.
mean, I also just want to highlight that like this connecting with self and light took 2 minutes and it was pretty amazing, you guys. We're like connecting to intuition in real time here on Incessantly Seeking podcast. And it was that simple, you know? So I definitely will go back and refer to this episode to just get that much connection to self. And now we have this pendulum, which I've never tried before, an external object that's kind of guiding us using our own energy to speak with us and tell us things. Um, is this something we should do before we go on a date? How should we use these techniques?
You could use it one of two ways. You could do it before a date. So maybe a before a date, if I go to this place, will I meet the person I want to? That could be a potential partner for me. So yes or no. Or maybe after you meet someone, say, is he open and willing to be in a committed relationship? Would this be a happy relationship? So like asking really specific questions that will give you a yes or no answer. So you can use it before or after. So that's one way. So with the pendulum, you could tune in and go. I use a lot of feeling. So I'm like very much of a So when it comes to intuition, there are five different clairs. There's clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, claircognizance. Wait, or is there six? um, right? Or so did I say five? Yeah. So you can tune in one of those different ways. So another way could be using a scale 1 to 10. One being not at all, 10 being yes. And
Mhm.
you can, okay, so if I say, scale 1 to 10 is the person I'm going to marry and spend the rest of my life with, do they live in Los Angeles? So I'll feel, does it feel like a 10? Does it feel light and expansive because truth is light and expansive, or does it feel contracted and dense? Right? So that can give you a gauge, or maybe a number will pop up.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit more because I haven't done this before. So there's five different types of feelings, right? That's what you mentioned. So can we go over them again?
For sure, yeah. Okay. Um, there is clairsentience, which is feeling, claircognizance, which is knowing, clairalience, which is hearing, clairvoyance, which is seeing, and claircognizance, which is tasting. Am I missing
Okay.
one? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
And then while we're looking into ourselves to try to understand what's happening with our intuition, we should uh, kind of sense what kind of this feelings they are. I love what you said that like when it's the truth, it feels certain, it feels light, and when
Hmm.
it's fear, it feels contrived and uneasy. Are there other ones that we can like this is so
Yeah.
I'm so curious because I've never really broken this down and I'm like, "Oh my god, am I doing this?"
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, in some of my intuition trainings, I have an intuition mentorship going on right now, and I help you define your psychic dictionary. So I have you go through all of it. Like, if yes had a color, what would it be? If yes had a sound, what would yes be? If yes had a taste, what would it be? So then, as you're practicing with the answers you get, you can go throughout your life and say, what pops up for me? Or maybe one sense comes to you more easily than another. Yeah. You know,
Okay.
there's
I
so much
love
here.
it. I know there's so much, and I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, I'm out in a dating world and I meet someone, and then I guess it's a constant self analysis and being connected to self on like what is the truth of what's happening versus what you wish was happening. I've been in the past in a
Mhm.
narcissistic relationship, which was the only one of that kind I've ever been in, but there's a lot of self doubt. I think one of the things that I've learned through that relationship was that I started really strong and really connected to self. And as the relationship went on, and I could see in the beginning these things of like, no, that's not what you said before, or like, oh, wait, this doesn't sound right because you did say this and now you're saying something else. Have you forgotten? You know, and it kind of made me question self, which broke down, you know, my sense of confidence. And then having to rebuild that afterwards was interesting because once you start questioning yourself, whether or not you're seeing things for what they are, whether or not you remember the way the things happened and facts and things that happened in your life with a person. And I just had a conversation like that today with my producer on a project. And I'm like, we had this conversation, right? Like, am I crazy? Like, did this really happen? And she's like, we probably have because, you know, I'm just been very busy and it's been, a kind of few weeks and I kind of forgot. But I'm like, we even altered our documents. Like, our pitch materials have changed since then. Like, did I not have this conversation with you? But it's good
Right.
to analyze self and think like, is my go-to self-doubt? Is that what I go on to? Do I trust other people's memories of facts better than I trust my own? And when you're talking about a dating experience, right? This is my partner. When I'm talking about a producer in a project, like I trust her and I know that she won't like kind of fuck with me if we can say it. But that guy totally did. That guy totally fucked with my memory, totally fucked with the facts of what was happening. And it left me at the end wondering, was it really me as he said it was, or was it him, or was it just that we're not compatible? So I'm trying to find like using this intuition work a way to get our listeners more tools. I love this connection. I love this understanding of what are different types of feelings. And if it feels positive, like good, it's probably truth. It feels confidence. For me, when I feel like I am in a place of knowing. When it feels like not belief, but knowing, it feels like truth.
Mhm.
It's not something I need to believe in. I just know it's the truth. And that was like
Mhm.
huge step for me in realizing like, oh, I was able to break out of what happened in that relationship. And it's now, I don't even want to argue with you. It wasn't,
Nice.
I didn't need to argue. I didn't feel bad. I didn't need to convince this guy that I was right or wrong. I knew my truth. That's
That's
simple.
beautiful, and it is simple, and that's so beautiful because of the experience you have with the narcissist, although it was unfortunate, it kind of like shaped you into this place now where if someone's trying to argue about something that you know to be true, the version of you before may have been like, oh, maybe it's not. Maybe I will like give in to what you're saying. But you're like, no, I know my truth. I'm more in my power now because it feels like you took some time to heal from that experience and like move through it, right? Like even though moving into the dating world, if you see a red flag, you see something like that's not right, or if like you're in the beginning stages of dating, no, like nip it in the butt right away. Use your past experiences, even if they were hard, to discern and say, no, thank you, pivot.
Yeah, hopefully we learn from our past experiences for sure. I did take a break from dating after that. It was very destructive. And I'm sure, he tends to listen to this podcast. I'm sure he's going to be patting himself on the back, like, see, I just tried, I destructed something. But it was destructive in a way that I had this naivete and this romanticized idea of what love and relationship was that he destroyed. And that will never come back. I mean, maybe it is for the best. Maybe now I have a more mature understanding of what a partnership is and what I want in a life partner. But I took a year. I took a year not dating. I did a lot of therapy. I went on this quest of trying to understand myself and trying to find what my truth was. And sometimes you slip back, and I think in a dating experience is definitely harder because we're so vulnerable. We all know that the people we date, the people we love, are the people that hurt us the most because we expect them not to, and we trust them the most. So it's a very fragile place to be. And I got away from that. I did not want to engage in any romantic relationships because I needed to understand, how did I fall for someone like that? What about myself needed healing in my inner child, in my growing up experience, that person was able to prey on, that I was looking outwardly to accomplish, to be fulfilled instead of inwardly. And now that maybe I am ready to see, maybe the pendulum is right. Maybe I'm ready for a relationship. But now that I go back out in the dating world, I feel a lot more grounded. I feel a lot more secure. And like I said, it's kind of spilling over. It's not anymore just a dating world. I can interact with anyone and say, no, I know my truth, and you can't convince me of your perspective. And at the same time, I can talk to my producing partner, which is someone that I respect and love, and be like, wait, we did have the conversation, right? Because I trust her and I know that she's not going to be like trying to sway me of something that is not happening. Because if I win, she win, we all win, right? And then we are a team, and that's what it means to be in any relationship.
Yeah, that's so important to have people who you can trust and rely on, like your soul tribe, the people who you can just trust and connect to, having community and support to help you grow and flourish. That's beautiful that you have your producer friend to be there for you. It is interesting because our past relationships can kind of put a filter that dictates like what we attract or who we're attracted to, what we attract, what we tolerate. And it's really important to do the healing work, to go inwards and reflect because you don't want to keep recreating the same pattern over and over again. I've been in a slew. I've went through many abusive relationships, and it was hard. It was difficult, and that's because I wasn't aware. I didn't know that. Oh, I have to heal what's going on inside, or where's the root of this coming from, in order to really reflect, love myself, prioritize myself, and then attract the partner who is truly aligned for me. Um, I mean, I'm newly dating and I'm confident to not repeat the same patterns of my past. Like, thank God. It's like, okay, I got through that hard time and yeah, like, interested or excited about what's to come. So I would say moving forward, using your intuition. Okay, so when you meet someone, you can use the pendulum. You can ask your body, like, body, show me yes. What does yes feel like in my body? Yes, 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 yes. Where do you feel yes in your body? What does it feel like? So you could do it right now. Where do you feel yes in your body?
That's a good one. I feel like I feel it in kind of like my gut, like my abdominal area. I feel like a lot of uncertainty and anxiety is higher in my body. It's like around my chest area. So
Okay.
whenever I feel tightness, like in my chest area, to me is a sign that something is off. Um, and just by observing myself, that feels like confidence, certainty, all of that kind of comes more in the abdominal area.
So if I think of yes, it's like more, it's expansive in my chest actually. So it's like light and it's in my chest. It feels expansive. It feels light. When I think of no, it's more of a contracted feeling and it's more in my belly. So it's different. And yours could be opposite, and that's completely fine. So that's what, so when
Yeah,
I'm
that's
meeting someone,
interesting.
I'm like, okay, or like I'll hear the answer. If I meet someone, I'm like, is this a good partner for me? Like, are they open and willing to be in a committed relationship? Am I hearing yes or no? Am I feeling yes or no? So I see which way it comes in. So, and then you could try, you can explore like what feels best to you. Try on a feeling. Is the feeling light and expansive or is it contracted and heavy? Am I hearing a yes or no answer when I ask this question? Maybe I use the pendulum. Am I getting a number, scale 1 to 10? Am I seeing like a one or like lower on the spectrum or a higher number? So like those are some different ways that you can tune in when you're dating.
And I think that's so important because I was someone, I think a lot of us do that, that go outside yourself for answers, right? You call that girlfriend, oh my God, this happened. What do you think? And everybody has all these opinions about your life, but they're coming from their own experience and their own traumas and whatever it is that they grew up with and they've seen, but that's not for you, like that's their experience. So I used to be also one of those people who would rely so heavily on the experience. Maybe if a friend has more experience than I do in a business world, that would be helpful, right? If somebody that's done what I do much more and at a much higher degree, I want to hear what they have to say. But in dating, we end up going to like the friend who never had a relationship, the perpetually single, and we want to know what she thinks and like what should I do, and I'm like, what the fuck does she know? It's like she's still single, and I
Yep.
think about that a lot now and I laugh. That I love what you're saying because the answer really is within. And
Yes.
that narcissistic guy that I dated, when I first met him, I remember feeling how erratic his energy was. I remember feeling like I felt uncomfortable, but all I
Yeah.
knew was that something was off. It just felt off.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
I walked out that night, which is a very dramatic night, some woman he was dating ended up storming in and hitting him in the face with a purse. There was blood everywhere.
Oh,
Girl, I
oh my
walked away from there. I was laughing on the phone with a girlfriend and we were dying laughing. And I said, thank God. And I'm like, I would not want to be
Yeah.
involved. And he
Mm-mm.
spent 8 years time every other day, every week, checking in and showing me how he has changed and being like, and
Yeah.
until one point, a year later, that he's like, please give me a chance. A lot has happened. I have changed and I want to prove it to you. And I said, okay, prove it to me. And man, he did not change. I will say just that for the ladies out there. A person only changes if they're actively working on themselves, if they're going to therapy, if they're like literally like journaling, reading books, doing the work. He was not doing the work. He was out and still is, unfortunately, for the ladies out there. But now I'm seeing someone new and it's still very new, but it's like the energy is so different.
Oh,
It's
nice. Well,
so
what's the difference? What do you like about the new person?
from we met as friends first. There was nothing romantic about it. So I've even worked together in a project, so you get to see someone who they really are. Like they're not trying to impress you, they're not trying to like be something that they're not. Like we were all focused on the job and like what was happening. Then we realized we have mutual friends and became like a fan thing. And so that allows you to see someone in a different light. I also, but then once it became romantic, the sensation I had was of safety. I don't even know.
Ooh,
I don't even know how to explain, but it's like solid, like just
yeah.
stable.
Ooh,
When I
yes.
think
Okay,
of this
key.
person, I
Noted.
feel stable, you know?
Oh, perfect.
We'll
That's
see.
really important.
Again, in the beginning, and my experience with beginnings have been like euphoric and like, butterflies and like, oh my God, and all of that stuff. And this feels different, you know?
See, that's what's amazing about dating and seeing like what works and what doesn't. And then you get to compare and or what does work, you just stay with what does work. Am I in this relation I'm in this relationship right now or I'm dating this person and it feels good. Like how do I feel when I'm around them? That's the number one thing. It's not so much like who they
Mhm.
are, what they do, the attraction. Yeah, that's all like important, but how does person make me feel when I'm around them? That's like number one, you know? So that's amazing. You feel
Yeah.
safe, you feel stable, which is way different than like erratic and uncertain.
Yeah. I felt, yeah. And also when you need trust in a relationship. And if you feel erratic and uncertain, you don't trust them.
I feel like sometimes we worry, like, oh, well, they're going to find someone else and blah, blah, blah. No, if they're not doing the inner work, they're not going to change.
Mhm.
So unless they're like really taking the steps, like you were saying, whatever, if it's journaling, doing the inner work, meditating, coaching, blah, 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 then no, they, they will remain the same. So don't worry about that person.
Yeah, and trust me, he went from that woman who assaulted him to because I don't know he dated anyone between that woman and me a year later. He says he didn't, but I don't trust him. And then right after he already had someone. Like as he's pretending that he's heartbroken and like, whatever is happening, dragged out our breakup because he didn't want to let me go until he had this other woman. And as I am
Wow.
trying to fix the relationship because I believe he is still emotionally involved and want to make it work. No, he's just using me and my feelings to not feel alone and abandoned, because that's what narcissists do. They hate themselves so much, and he used to say, I hate myself. They hate themselves so much that they need to have any kind of external validation. And the moment that he had this other woman, I guess, on the hook, he was just ghosted, stonewalled, didn't respond, like
Oh my
very like
God.
the way I would not even treat a friend,
That's
and I
horrible.
understand now. I know more through that process. And then a year later, he's now trying to apologize. And I'm talking to my therapist about it. She's like, number one, he should have been blocked. I'm not sure why you unblocked him. And number two, she's like, why would you even believe it? He probably broke up with this other woman and now needs attention again. And here he is. And it was exactly that. It was an interesting experience. But looking back now, I'm like, I wouldn't at this stage of my life even. I mean, now he is fully blocked and I'm very happy about it.
He's
But I
fully
wouldn't
blocked.
even. He's fully blocked on everything: Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever it is. And, there is still this podcast. However, he has no way to like actually make contact with me. I've moved twice since, like, he doesn't even know where I live, and I feel so good.
Wow.
But it's the sense of like feeling like I wouldn't even pick up your phone call today.
Yeah, and for you, it'll be great for you at some point because like the amount of pain and like turbulence you went through in that relationship and how that impacted you, for you to eventually get to a place of neutrality about it. Like
Mhm.
you've done so amazing up until now. And the first question you asked was, am I ready for a romantic relationship? So that bit of hesitancy is like that doubt and fear, that little bit of like trepidation. I don't want to get hurt again. Am I going to choose the wrong partner? And I completely get all that. I think a big part in your healing as well is to finally come to that place of neutrality. Like, I forgive this person, like, doesn't even affect me. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of healing or a little bit of time, and that will. But I feel like as you keep moving forward, especially like as you're listening to your feelings, you feel safe, you feel supported. That is key.
Yeah, and one thing you said in your connecting to light that I loved, is about opening your heart chakra, your eye chakra, your ear chakra, but also like your throat chakra. And I think that one is harder for me. I hear a lot that one is connected to like parental male relationships and like learning to feel safe enough to be able to speak your wants, needs, and desires. And my father died when I was 9, so I worked very hard to continue to speak my truth and point out things that don't work for me. But I still feel like it's hard.
Good.
I have to be like, in my business life, I'm very good at it. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
black and white, this is how it should be. But when it
Yeah.
comes to my romantic life, it's like the fear that, oh, they're gonna walk away, I was gonna ruin the relationship. But the truth is, the right person, they should
That's
want to work those things out with you.
right. Exactly. And it's like, and keeping aligned with that, a person who feels loved and feels cherished, what would they tolerate with? What would they tolerate
Mm.
with? Like, and what are your wants, needs, and hell knows? And if they fall within the hell knows, and like it's like, no, like I love myself, I cherish myself, and I expect that in the partner that I choose to have. Um, what was I going to say? The lawnmower just started like going loud out there. I don't know if you hear it or not. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
um,
LA. There's no way to avoid those things.
right, right. But yeah, it's like still it's staying true to who you are and feeling respected, feeling the feelings that you want to feel in relationship, um, and having the awareness that you know that losing your father at the age of 9 and how that impacted you, and choosing men who maybe like saw your weakness, maybe the part of you that needed a parental figure, that needed a father figure to help you heal those aspects of you, which is totally normal. um, but then sometimes you draw in the one who may like pick at your wounds, may put salt on your wounds, because that you haven't fulfilled that need within you. But as you keep healing, right, and you give yourself the healing you need, you're going to draw in a partner who can be an equal to you and really show up for you in a way that is healing. It is a healing relationship. It's not toxic.
Yeah, and I love that you said that because my friends in successful relationships now, that's exactly what they say to me, that like they are healing together. And they don't know each other, these couples, and in within a couple of weeks I've heard that 3 times, and I thought, whoa, I never thought about that you can actually heal with someone as you're experiencing a relationship. And I'm like, I guess that's the goal, if anything, is like to leave someone, if you have to leave them, better than you found them.
Yes, 1000%. How beautiful is
So you
that? Relationships are our best teachers. They really are. Like we're in relationship to everyone, everything, and the relationships we get into, we learn so much about ourselves and the other person, and we can, yeah, just really help each other grow and heal and be our best.
I really do love that. And you mentioned you had some abusive relationships in the past, and like it's always takes that one. And for me, it was that. How about you? Did you have like a catalyst relationship?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, because I had a few different like abusive relationships, cheating, lying, or actually physically abusive was one. But the last one where I finally was just enough is enough. This was 4 or 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, and it we were together for a few years, and but I knew him for last 9, 10 years, and
Wow.
yes, I knew him for a long time, and then we were in a relationship, and it because our lives were so intertwined. I worked for him, traveled with him. Um, there are many aspects of it that just was a really close relationship. But man, it just was the lying, the cheating, the dishonesty. There were just so many elements that were not healthy, and not to like, and I don't like talking badly about anyone, but then I ended up saving his life, and it was just like, it was just a lot to put up with. So that's where I just said, I can't be in one more abusive relationship again. I deserve so much more than this. I deserve respect. I deserve trust. I deserve loyalty and honesty. I deserve this. I deserve to really be loved. And I just took the last 4 years really focusing on my healing, and at the same time getting trained in what I was becoming healing in. So it kind of was
Mhm.
like a win-win in all ways.
Yeah, one of the most eye-opening exercises I did with my therapy with Dr. Terry Mack is like creating a list of all the qualities you want in your partner.
Mhm.
And then, now I'm going to give it away for whoever is like, going through this process. Then you look back and you look at from that list, what do you offer your partners? And
Hmm.
it's interesting to see what overlaps and if you are the person that you want. And I think that's the first step to really become the person who you want to meet.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like, would I date me? And it's like, well, yeah,
Hmm.
right? Am I like, and if you were to look at yourself, like say you're imagine sitting in front of you, how do you perceive yourself? Kind of
Hmm.
interesting. Do I perceive myself as someone who is confident, who is assured of herself, who really loves and takes care of herself? Or what is my perception of me? How do other people view me? So changing the way that you view yourself, right? Yeah.
I love that that you just
Mhm.
said, because that also was a transformative exercise when trying to get to know myself better.
Yeah, right? It is. There's so many tools and techniques. Really, there are miraculous tools at our disposal that we can really use to grow, to learn, to heal, become our best, and attract our freaking soulmate. We deserve it.
Yeah, and not just attractive, but also because I feel like we attract a lot of people, and then in any range of those that spectrum. But to choose them, to choose the people who are wanting what we are wanting, because I think sometimes, and I had this great interview with someone else that we talked about the difference between safety and familiarity, and it's like what feels safe sometimes it's just what's familiar, but that doesn't mean that it's safe, because if you come from an abusive childhood or an absent family, it's just what you know, and it doesn't mean that that's what you want now. And most of the time
Mhm.
it's not what you want, but those are the people that you feel connected to, and you can't understand why, but it's just that recreation of what it was like being a child in your home.
Definitely. Yeah. Got to redefine like your emotional home, redefine what safety truly means.
So, how do we use this intuition as we wrap up this episode when you're going through the dating apps? Because I'm hearing a lot of ladies, I have a lot of female friends and we talk about it a lot. And I'm here like on and off on those things. Like sometimes I read the messages and I respond, and then there's like 3 months later and like I never responded to anybody, because I've been on a few of those now. And they're all lovely people. I haven't, knock on wood, this crazy narcissistic guy I kind of met in real life through mutual friends in the industry. But from the online world, knock on wood again, like I've been very lucky. I've met lovely people. It just wasn't a match. So how do we is there a way to use our intuition, or is there any tips that you can share with us on like how to analyze this profiling life in a way and
Yeah.
try to avoid some not so pleasant dates?
I would say so if you were to look at it, I never use dating apps, but okay, so if you were to look at a dating app and or use one. I tried to once, but I was like, no. So if I would look at a dating app and see a person, I would feel into them. I would kind of like, I'm a feeler, so I feel, would this person be good for me? Am I getting a light feeling? Am I getting a tense feeling? Um, and I would ask, scale 1 to 10, how aligned is this person for me? Are they really open to a committed relationship? Um, Scale 1 to 10, I would kind of see what number would pop up. Or I could use the pendulum. You could also use your body for a pendulum. So I would just go one by one and kind of ask those questions and tune in. Always connect to the light first, though, and ask for truth.
And I feel like, we haven't met them. So it's just whatever they're putting out there and pictures and, writing prompts and things like that. But at the same time, if you think about that, that's the same in real life. When you meet somebody for the first time, they're putting their best foot forward and whatever it is that they're representing themselves to be for you. So it has a similar experience. You can't tell in terms of energy because you haven't met that person. Do you think you can like notice energy
Yeah.
um, by images?
Can you read energy by images?
Yeah, like
Is that
pictures.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, when I'm doing work with people, some of my clients I've never even met, and like it's just on the phone. So I'm just reading their energy just by hearing them and feeling them, and I'll get a sense of like what's going on with them in their life and help them do a healing and reading that way. And that's the same thing by looking at an image of a person who you could potentially date. Kind of just feel into their energy. What do they feel like? What are the stories that come up? And always just and yeah, and you want to make sure that you're not reading your beliefs or like their beliefs,
Hmm.
you're just reading from truth. So like there's a little bit of a difference with that. But yeah, you can read a lot by someone's picture.
And how do you separate your beliefs from what you're picking up energetically? Because that was my question. You kind of already started talking
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah, so I'll connect to the light before I read someone. I'll connect them to their light and I'll ask for truth. And if there's any energy like in, on, or around me, I'll kind of clean my field or just kind of clean my space and their space. And I imagine them in a blessing ball of light in front of me before I do a reading. um, and I kind of just receive the information that way. If
Interesting.
that
Well,
makes
any final remarks, before we wrap up this episode today that maybe we haven't touched up on and you want to share with our
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah, I would say lead with your heart, right? Tune in, feel what's a yes, what's a no for you. Um, Ask for truth, connect to the light, and use your past experiences as wisdom, like as gems as you move forward. If you feel doubt, if you feel worry, if you feel fearful moving forward, do the inner work. Go inside. I have tools that I use with my clients when I work with them to help these clear and shift those patterns. But do that, because you want to make sure you're entering a new relationship with a new, like, fresh set of eyes, right? But using it as wisdom and feeling like you knowing that you deserve the best. And if someone is not aligning with your values, getting clear on it, like honestly, actually, this is number one too. Write down on a piece of paper your needs, your wants, and your hell knows. So then you can always refer to this list. And if it doesn't align, then boom, you just keep moving forward because there's billions of people on the planet that you could be really right for you.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Maria. And where can we find you?
Thank you. Yeah, you can go to my website. It's intuitivecoachmaria.com, or if you're on Instagram, social media is at Maria Shapester.
Thank you so much for being here today. I think our listeners are going to get a lot from this.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thanks, Luciana.